All right, welcome back, everybody. That music means it's time now for Great Day Law. Each month, we like to check in with our friend Lawyer, the lawyer, for some free legal advice.
We love free advice. All right, and let's join us because the topic is a good one for everyone this winter, especially I know what it's like to fall on black ice. Oh, it was my fault. I don't have to call lawyers. The lawyer,
Did you sue yourself?
Yeah, exactly, or my husband. But anyway, we're talking about because a caller, Lawyer the lawyer, is here, Lawyer Twilly, and you have a scenario that you just got. So thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
So this scenario, a caller called you
Yep.
and said their landlord waited 2 days to salt after Winter Storm Benjamin.
No good.
It's tough.
They slipped that morning before the landlord arrived and broke their wrist, which happens a lot, and concussions and all kinds of things. So who's liable?
Whenever you're dealing with premises liability cases like this, liability is always a little bit murky, right? So on one hand, you have a landlord or a property owner that has a duty to make it reasonably safe for you, right? Doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be reasonably safe. And whether or not it was reasonable that they waited 2 days before salting, don't know. We don't know if there was shoveling that took place. We don't know if sand was put down. We know that salt wasn't. But on the other hand, you can see there's snow and there's ice, and so were you reasonable in attempting to navigate that property?
Did you wear proper shoes?
Correct. So all of those sort of things factor into your situation in your case.
I think we've discussed this before. When I grew up, there was our property, then there was the sidewalk, and then there was another strip of grass, and then a curb with the street.
Yeah.
That strip of grass belonged to the town.
Yes.
It didn't belong to us. We had to maintain it.
Yes.
But it belonged to them. What happens in that case where they trip and fall on not my property, but on that strip of grass, which was tended to be not as well maintained as the rest of the lawn?
Sure. Yeah. So in Connecticut, it is city or town wide. Each city or town has an ordinance that lets you know whether or not you're responsible for it or they're going to take responsibility for it.
I know in Hartford, you have to take care of your own sidewalk.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's generally the way it's gone. There was a landmark Connecticut Supreme Court case probably like in 2012, somewhere in there, where there was a situation where somebody was injured on that strip of property that was no man's land.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
The Supreme Court came down with a ruling, and then I think towns and cities started to change their ordinances accordingly. So you really should check.
So if this happens and you have a slip and fall, what's step one? What should you do?
Obviously, medical attention. If you can, document the scene and what happened at that point, what it looked like at that point in time. A picture. And then give us a call.
Yeah,
right?
but sometimes you're like, oh my God, you get up from the fall, you're confused.
Or don't get up. I was like, I can't get up.
Embarrassed. You just want to get away.
Correct.
Sometimes is it detrimental to the case if you don't get those photos or things like that?
Detrimental, I wouldn't say so. Obviously, it helps to
capture as much as you can.
Right.
Yeah.
So get your wits about you and start taking some photos.
Yeah, and it don't feel dirty about it. Like, especially in that scenario where you've had the landlord has had a couple of days to do right and make things.
A couple of days is
that's
But the other thing is, for all of us who are homeowners, if someone, we're getting Amazon deliveries every day, all of that kind of stuff, it's incumbent on us to make sure we have salted and sanded.
Within a reasonable amount of time. And so there was a situation, where the neighbor came over and he works a third shift. And so is it reasonable for him to, when the storm had ended, to actually be able to go out and clean within 6-8 hours? And it's like, no, he went to bed, or he's at work.
So I have an icicle dripping onto my sidewalk that's turning into ice.
Yeah, refreeze, melt and refreeze.
My responsibility.
Because you're aware of it. So you're aware of that potential hazard, and so what you'll want to do is you'll want to put some salt or sand in that area where you have that.
Okay. Well, everybody stay away from my house.
You live in a condo. Go call someone.
You're right. I will. Hey, somebody do something.
Put the burden on them.
Yeah.
LA Law has locations in Bloomfield and New London. For more information, you can send an email to lawyer@lalawct.com. You can also call or text the number on your screen. It's 860-595-3163, or follow along on social media at Lawyer the Lawyer. So good to see you.
Great to see you both.
Yeah,
Great to see you.
Pleasure.